Welcome to another exciting episode of Safe Distance and Save Lives. Thank you for tuning in. I know we are in lockdown mode and probably you are in the 14th or 15th or 28th also, as we heard yesterday. So many days in the same house, same room, and looking out into the world through our window. During this time, what could go wrong? It's our mind, it's our mental health, it's also how we are thinking, and we look for direction, for leadership, motivation. And through the window, we look for those people in our lives who have done that. May not be with us physically, we may not be able to touch and feel them, but we are connected. We are connected even in this distant situation. We are connected through Facebook and many other means. Our next guest, you got it right. I have not met her in person, but I've always been in touch with her through messages and all kinds of social media. It's interesting. I know a dear person in her life. I met him in person and I was dying to meet her and when this all happened. So we are very delighted to have with us Sindu SREEBHAVAN, all the way from Singapore. She is the founder of International Youth Leadership and Innovation Forum. She's also the CEO of As Many Minds. Without taking further thunder away, let's move to Sindu and she will tell us a lot more about her work, how she's inspiring many people and many things that she's doing. Thank you, Sindu, for joining with us.
Thank you, Malika. It's wonderful to be here on your show. As you said, we have been communicating with each other for quite some time, and today is the day. And it happened to be in this COVID situation, but we will always find a silver line in any negative experiences that we go through. And this is one of the silver lines that I have found in this situation. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much. So, Sidhu, please tell us about I know you have a very busy life because I know you're always so active. Every time I look at the Facebook or any post, you have so many events going on. You're always on the go. You have a little one at home who is also superstar. So you have a family of superstars. I mean, I was watching The Incredible and I was thinking about your family, which is totally you guys are like incredible. Each one is a superstar at your home. So how do you manage all these superstars during the lockdown?
Thank you for that. It's just that each of us is trying to do what we are passionate about, what we stand for. I have, in fact, 2 kids and they are not little ones anymore. They are in their teenage. So my son turned 16 during the lockdown 2 weeks ago, and my daughter is 14 and a half. And they are on a home-based program now. So although each of us is doing our own work, marking our own territory, doing our own work, but we are always on call. The kids are always on call with school. And we are always on call with clients or, the shows like this. And so we are in fact creating a new norm here. And it's frustrating, especially for the teenagers. It's frustrating to be at home, to be locked up inside their room because they have full day school. However, I think, all of us do understand where it comes from, and each of us is doing our own duty in making sure that the entire world remains safe.
Thank you for sharing that. Sindhu, I was curious because you're in Singapore and Singapore is pretty close to all those things that's happening there. Not still compared to North America. And North America saw a huge increase and it's become the epicenter of this whole COVID. But can you tell us some of the best practices that were done in Singapore and when it all started? Any memories when the lockdown started and the whole days that you spent?
Well, right. So Singapore is close to everywhere, but other than that, wherever it happens, Singapore is close to all those places around the world because it's a city country, but at the same time, it is city-state at the same time. there's a lot of to outside Singapore, as well as there are a lot of travelers coming in because it's a business hub and the population density is extremely high. So it's whenever something happens, Singapore is always cautious about it. There is always some measure. We started hearing about the COVID virus in China in January onwards, I think, and I believe it was sometime in January that Singapore also had its first case of coronavirus here. And as usual, initially everybody was saying it's only the imported cases. But we have gone through the phase of SARS in the past. Singapore was affected by SARS in 2002 or 3. And there was about 30 or 33 fatalities at that point in time. So we had in fact gone through that process of being socially responsible, being socially distant, and so on. And at that time, the thinking, Singapore government is also extremely cautious in situations like this. They will already have some measures in place. They inform the people, and we do understand the severity of the situations, and people do really listen to the government and understand where the government is coming from. But the thing was, we used to think, initially we thought, coronavirus is not as dangerous as SARS. And, since with that experience of going through the SARS period, we would be able to be safe. But then we come to know the fact that it spreads so fast. And then once the community spread started, that's when people became extremely cautious. People became extremely serious about the situation. But at the same time, Singapore government didn't want to do a lockdown, and even now it's not technically a lockdown period. Government was doing a fantastic job with contact tracing and so on, one of the best in the world. Even my husband, he was on quarantine for 2 weeks because he had attended a big event which was attended by a coronavirus patient, and even we were not able to communicate or mingle with him, although he was on quarantine in his room.
Singapore has been admired by the world for the way they have contained this virus and how they're dealing, and the people are more disciplined. As we know, Singapore has a very disciplined lifestyle. So that way, so thanks for sharing that firsthand, because I always heard about it. Now I can see a citizen speak about it. Now, please share something about your work life. So I know because about your schedule and the kind of work that you do. Please tell us about that first, and also how was life before COVID and how is life after COVID?
Yeah. So life before COVID, that was a very busy life. But now the busyness is in a different way. I work with different demographics. As I mentioned, I'm passionate about education reform. I'm passionate about youth development. So my organization, As Many Minds, has got a youth wing, and through which we organize the International Youth Leadership and Innovation Forum. We have one annual event every year, and there are some chapter forums in other countries as well. So about that, and apart from that, we also have a lot of training programs. We have public training programs. We have training programs at schools, both for teachers as well as for students, professional development for teachers, skills development for students, and 21st century skills development for students, and so on. And at the same time, I'm also a speaker. We are always creating content for all our programs. So, and I'm passionate about, other than youth development and education reform, I'm also passionate about innovation, because I come from a management consulting background. Which is important. So last year, in 2019, ILIF, International Youth Leadership and Innovation Forum, was in November. And that just got over. And at that time, I was also doing one of the programs that I have always been looking forward to doing. That was a women leadership program from Oxford University. And, I was doing that course at that time. So it was an extremely very busy time. And then in December, I took 2 weeks off and I broke my ankle. So from the January onwards, from the beginning of January or the end of December onwards, I'm stuck at home. Initially it was due to my ankle, and now later it's due to this. So what we did, especially in the case of programs for children, was even before the directives from Singapore government came out, I decided that I voluntarily cancelled new programs. Because I didn't want our centers to be the spreading ground of corona among children. So that we did. So that what it also means that we really have to, you can do something when you are an entrepreneur. You should look at it from both two ways. One is that your humanitarian beliefs and causes that you really believe in, and the second is you need to bring in the revenue because you have people who are working for you. And so I had to look at different. So what we did was we had some plans to do some of our online programs later in the year. We moved it forward. So that is ongoing, and some of those resources that I had always been thinking about, these resources were available for our coaching clients, our training our training clients or organizations, but were not available in the public domain. So we are also converting many of those resources into online programs or online resources or physical books and ebooks. So in that case, it is, we are still busy, but there is, there's this transformation period. We had to transform from one mode to another. We had to collaborate, being in, our own home. So that is something, we are still figuring certain aspects. Always, in my organization, always we had that luxury of working from home if you are not needed in the office. So that is, so it's a new way of doing things. But the way I look at it is completely changing the entire landscape of how we work. Because now we know that we can run a lot of things online. Now we know that we can make a lot of decisions happen without meeting someone face-to-face or physically face-to-face. So the online meeting platforms are helping in that sense. Even in the case of education, which I work in, I find that yes, we are always used to say education systems are not ready for new innovations because it's so difficult to change an entire system, and that change should happen. And I always say change should happen from teacher training schools, not from children's school. But look at it now. Something happened, a tiny virus that just changed the entire planet, this giant planet altogether. So this is a trigger for a lot of change, a lot of difference that's going to happen. A lot of difference in the way the business is conducted, difference in the way the personal business is conducted. So we are also looking at how our new mode of operation will be once COVID is over, because it's we are never going to go back entirely to the old way that we have been performing and operating in the past. So it's exciting in some way.
So you said it very right. So I would like you to give a message to the audience. Why is it so important to go online at this time?
I, in fact, have two messages before we go on to the online thing. we have been looking at taking things for granted. Just stepping out from home, being able to step out from home, we never thought that's a luxury. So I think this is the time, this is something that opened our eyes towards how blessed we have been and still how blessed we are. So one of the things is we should always be grateful for all those simple things that we have in our life. And the second thing is online. In online presence is another way of making yourself present in front of people who want to see you, who you think will get benefited from you, whether it's on a personal level or on a professional level. So, and most of the time, the hurdle is our self-image. It's not, a lot of people, they're not going online, not because they don't have the substance, not because they don't think they have the substance, but just because of their self-image, how my accent is, how do I look. Sometimes we compare ourselves with others and so on. And my suggestion, my recommendation to people who want to go online is, this is the perfect time, because a lot of tools, if you want to purchase, take membership, a lot of tools are available at a discounted price. That is one thing. And this time, since everybody is going, nobody is going to judge you if you want to go online. So, and this is the time you can take that bandwagon. And after the COVID situation, you will see that a lot of people dropping out from this online. But if you can come up with a plan on what you really want to do online, whether you're selling any physical product, whether you're just motivating people or doing some training, whatever it is, this is the perfect time. So believe in and take, where I mentioned about self-image before, what my suggestion is, self yourself away from what you are trying to achieve online. Because as long as your purpose is going to serve some people, it doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter what you wear, because those are things that, you will figure out. You will evolve with times, and, you will be able to get better at it. So that is not how we look, how we sound, how our English is or any other languages. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is what you can offer, and who are your beneficiaries, and how will they benefit from it. So just go on and don't worry about likes and comments in the beginning, because even if you're not getting any likes, even if you're not getting any comments, people are still watching you, and people want to see that consistency, that you will stay on, you are determined, and then later people will start commenting you, sharing your ideas or posts or whatever it is, but definitely even without that, people will find benefit in it. So stay focused, be confident, and go on in your online journey. You won't be disappointed at the end of it. If your first attempt fails, or first business or whatever you're trying to do online is going to fail, but you will still learn a lot from that experience, which is important, because that will be your asset for whatever you're going to do after that.
Thank you so much for sharing the golden words. Those are what you said. That is, nothing does matter. It's just your presence that matters. And that's exactly what you shared. And I'm so delighted to have you here, Sindu, and you shared very words of wisdom. And I'm sure we'll see lots of talent out there who are coming out. They don't need to go outside. We practice safe distance and we are saving lives. You have even shared what Singapore has done. So I think we should, and we have to be careful. So you saw the second wave. So that kind of, we need to be careful about that. We are right now going through the first wave. We've not even hit our epicenter yet. So it's just coming in sporadic moment. But in these times, we have to hold each other's hand and say thank you for a beautiful life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.